Good evening and welcome to Face for the Newsfirst team. I'm Niresh Chalyatamvi. I have with me in the studio a very special guest, none other than Professor Anil Jayantha Fernando, who is of course the Minister of Labour and the Deputy Minister of Economic Development. Good evening and welcome back, Professor. It's been a long time.
Good evening to you, Niresh. It's my great pleasure joining your program after a long time.
Yes, and I'm sure you've been very busy doing what Ministers of Labour and Economic Development have to do. You have a dual portfolio, of course. Right. So, Professor, nearly 1 year completed of President AKD's term, and about 10 months since the government, the parliament was actually formed. Right. When you look back at the economic situation, what do you see from a year ago to now? What are the successes? What are the challenges?
Yeah, Niresh. In fact, we are really happy with the current the progress and the performance of the economy compared to the situation that the country was when we formed our government. It is not that we are measuring or comparing the economic performance on a continuous basis. In fact, the country was really just almost collapsed, bankrupt and stagnating situation. Then we happened to start from zero. So we realized what our challenges were. So that is why we gave the priority to stabilize mainly finance, the prices. In a way, the priority was given for the macroeconomic stabilization. Very correctly we did it, and now environment is there, a particular platform is there, new investment can come in. So before going to the challenges, even with this stabilization period, now we have been able to report a growth more than what we expected, more than what many agencies forecasted and projected. For instance, last year 2024, our GDP, real GDP growth was 5%, and the following consecutive 2 quarters, quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2025, the GDP growth is 4.8% and 4.9% respectively, recording half year GDP growth of 4.8%. It is relatively, we are more than happy and a great success. But at the same time, you just refer to the propaganda carried out by opposition and the political opponents. So always they try to create a bad image about the government efforts and the way the government engage in the economy. Of course, maybe due to their political reasons, but they go beyond the realities, they go beyond the numbers. They have their own interpretation. Most of the interpretation are wrong. Even just before announcing this 4.9% growth for the second quarter, there were lots of news, and especially circulated in the social media, saying that no country cannot be revived, country's GDP growth is 3%, less than that, and so they will not be able to do the things. Mainly what they are trying to do is to really damage to the investors' confidence that we are very difficulty building up. So now the economy has been stabilized. So if you just simply shed away with your politics, if you look at the current situation from the country's perspective, we have to accept the fact that we need more and more investments into the country to drive the economy. So if you purposely, deliberately do something to block investment, discourage investment in a way that can be considered as a crime as well. So you may see, so like these kind of things are happening. If someone comes out with facts and figures and says that, so the way we manage the economy, so we can have a good debate. And I'll show you some statistics. So I don't know whether the camera can capture it. You can see here how the economy has been stabilized with numbers, so with evidence. So from here to here, you can see the quarterly, the growth, it goes up, goes down, and again what we call high volatility. So what does it indicate? If a growth rate fluctuates within a short period of time unnecessarily, then no one has confidence in that particular economy. Stabilization means, so it does not change significantly. So last 2 quarters, you can see the 2 points have been just circled and stabilize. So that stabilization, the growth rate is more than what has been projected. So that is what I'm just telling with numbers. And if you just refer to all the other statistics, this is only one indicator. And the with that particular indicator, you can't say everything, but this is a very good indicator how the economy is just going forward. In the meantime, we have stabilized the government revenue. Revenue consolidation is also taking place very well. And the all the 3 revenue generators, custom, IRD, and excise department, they have exceeded their targets up to date. And the external sector growth and stabilization has been achieved. And the financial sector stabilization has been achieved. The low interest rates and no high volatility, even in the exchange rates, also just remains within an acceptable level. So that gives more confidence for the investors. In addition to these numbers, statistics, Niresh, we have made other changes in the legislation, so required amendments to the existing laws and introduction of new the bills. Among them, one of the bills which is going to come in the future is the Investor Protection Act. And as of now, recently we signed an agreement with UAE as well. So that also talks about the investor protection, because investor protection is a key, because they should have the confidence that when I bring some money, when they invest here, earn, and that profit can be taken without having any problem. So I think that with these kind of changes, apart from the other the changes, investors' confidence will really increase.
Right. So the Investor Protection Act, when are we likely to see this coming to Parliament?
Sooner the better. But you know that some administrative already that has been drafted, it needs to go to the legal the department, and so likewise again we will have some discussion with experts to make suitable changes, because yeah, we just hope to bring it within this year.
Right. Now, Professor, apart from our own internal challenges, we face external challenges. We had the Middle East situation, which continues to this day, but it was particularly alarming when Iran and Israel were firing missiles and bombing each other, because we are the collateral damage if oil prices go up, or if the labor situation in the Middle East becomes imbalanced. There's very little we can do. So that's one challenge. Hopefully that has subsided. But the other challenge, of course, is the tariffs of the US, which US President Donald Trump imposed. Now, what impact do you see on Sri Lanka? Because it's a 20% tariff, which is a lot better than the 45% which he announced initially. And much of the world is going to face these tariffs. There are countries which have 50%, 40%, and so on. But what impact do you see on Sri Lanka?
It's like this. Of course, now every country runs the rules their countries within a global economy. In a global economy, you have to expect external shocks and external pressures which cannot be predicted. Some of the things we can predict, but some of the things like this reciprocal tariff issue, the international wars, or any calamities, or natural disasters, we never know, even the pandemic situation. So therefore we must be prepared to face any challenge in this world. So however it is, we have to accept the fact that by the time we took the power in this particular country, our economy was in a very critical condition, the dying condition. So in fact the economy was not resilient enough to face not the particularly the external shocks, but also the internally it could not manage. That is why the people happened to be in queues and the prices really skyrocketed and some people died in queues. Likewise, there were so many issues. Such a situation, so economy was not in such a situation to face or absorb external shocks. So in the future also new external shocks come in, but very rightly by showing the proper diplomacy, the proper governance, what we did amidst lots of accusations for us that we are not doing anything, because we did not just carry out any the media propaganda, but immediately on the following day when these reciprocal tariffs were imposed, not only to us, to all the countries in this world, because we become like subject of this thing. What we did, His Excellency the President Anil Jayantha, he appointed a committee of the officials to look into this thing. So they engaged in discussions, continued. Some of the discussions were physical, virtual, and it continued. As a result, now we have been able to bring it down to 20%. So that is also a challenge, but we continue with the discussion in order to bring it down further. And
so the discussions are continuing.
And while continuing these discussions, so we try hard to really improve and expand trade and investment relationships as well. So that is the present situation. Apart from that, other geopolitical crises and all those things are happening. But our approach is we are not going to take part any role in the geopolitics or international wars. We maintain our independence. We want to have very healthy relationship with all the countries. We strongly believe that we can do this thing. As of now, the recognition that comes from other countries and other development agencies about our government is very high. So we get very good appreciation the way we rule the country, especially with reference to the corruption and good governance. So that is a key to maintain good relationships. And further, Niresh, what matters is the transparency. And then only we can build trusts with other countries. Recently we signed an agreement with UAE as well to have this Investor Protection Act. And again, this month, our President, His Excellency Anil Jayantha will travel to the States to address United Nations Human Rights Commission, followed by an official visit to Japan as well. During these visits, we try to create an environment of bringing new investment into the country. So already the basic arrangements and the discussions have been made.
Right. So, Professor, what is your prognosis for GDP growth in the future? What is the target? You mentioned that the targets were exceeded in the last 2 quarters. What's the target this time, taking all these Trump tariffs and everything else into consideration?
Yeah, Niresh, actually, so when we talk about the GDP growth, if you just simply give your number through your number and say that this is what we are going to achieve, sometimes may be misleading, because it comes as a result of a gamut of and the number of economic operations. However, just to have a number like as of now, we have a number of somewhere around 5%. We expect to maintain the same target or more, maybe 5 to 6% target in 2026. And again, to achieve this particular target, we need to look at the key variables. As the government, what can we do? As the government, we can allocate public finance for the public investment, that is what we call the capital expenditure, as much as possible and expedite it. That is what we can do. But the much will come from the private sector operations. Then the private credit facility should increase. So signs are there that the private sector is borrowing more and more for investment. So within a short period of time, the credit to the private sector has increased significantly. Then the other challenge is bringing more foreign direct investments. So when these things happen, automatically the money saved by the investors or individual entities will be translated into investment. So this is what is happening. That is the reason why the formal projections will be or are exceeded even the last year 2024 because of this contribution from the private sector investment coming in.
Right. So, Professor, now which sectors of growth are we looking at that the government wants to focus on? Tourism, of course, is one of the low-hanging fruits, but what other sectors? Because it takes a long time to build up a sector. You can't suddenly say that we are going to start, a completely new sector and expect that to produce results immediately. It takes several years. But from our existing sectors, what are we focusing on?
So, mainly, actually, when we focus on our economic growth and the potential, we need to take into account our capacities, potential, and the resource availability, all those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with the given conditions, so there is now like a huge potential in the tourism sector. So maybe as you just highlighted as a low-hanging fruit, and quickly we can enter into that without doing much changes, and if you just carry out appropriate propaganda and provide required infrastructure, so there is a possibility that is happening. And at the same time, you can see parallelly the tourist arrival is also increasing. I think that it looks like this year is going to report the highest the number of tourist arrival in this country. In addition, the other areas, so we have a huge potential in the energy sector. So now some the reforms have been made in the energy sector as well, because with the given capacity, the possibility of just mixing our the energy sources with the renewable energy and the low cost energy, we can produce huge. It has been estimated around 45 to 50 the gigawatts, but our usage is not that much. Then there is a gap between the demand and supply, the potential. Then that means we have an opportunity. So we are exploring, so huge growth. So in order to do that, the right changes, what we did initially, we now have a kind of energy strategy, energy transition strategy and policy. Accordingly, we enacted the electricity the act as well, though there are some the resistance. But you have to compare the given situation with the act that we passed in the parliament. Before we formed the government, what happened was the previous government had not realized the significance of energy and what role the energy is going to play in the economy. It is not only a commodity, it is connected to the entire economy. It is connected to the national security likewise. So it was really set for really selling off of these things and destabilize the energy sector. So what we did, we reviewed that particular act and reformed. The reform does not mean that always because previous government did lots of selling in the name of reforms. Therefore, when employees hear the reform, they may be afraid. So we did a kind of reform and review this. After reviewing this particular act, the act established several institutions and companies. They are within the one umbrella organization which is owned by the government, not privatization, not selling off, but facilitating the private sector to bring investment and enter into the energy generation market and provide their capacity, the contribution in different ways their capacity. So this is what we have done. But unfortunately, due to some other reason, some employees may be knowingly or unknowingly, or maybe due to politically motivated reasons, just making a whim in the society, saying that the government is going to sell it off. So it's utterly a lie. So it is a situation where the government is going to establish a very strong energy, the policy in the country, energy sector in the country, and create value in the energy that would really give a huge boost to the economy and more benefits to the employees as well. So this is a situation where everyone has to look into the details and join hands to achieve these targets rather than just doing sabotage.
Now, you are also the Minister for Labour, and we have seen some work to rule and strikes by the CEB, the Postal Department, railways, and so on. Not in the private sector, but in these key state sector institutions. But these are the very people who overwhelmingly voted for system change. When you looked at the postal voting in the especially the general election, very clearly the state sector employees wanted system change, but they don't seem to be willing to change themselves. Is this somewhat of a disappointment for you, especially as Minister of Labour?
So it's like this, Niresh. In fact, so we accept the rights of employees. So always they can use their rights to bargain for their demands and all those things. But at the same time, we have to accept the fact that just look at the reasons. So what are the real reasons that they really bring about to go for strikes or work to rule or any other things? In a context where we have increased public sector salaries by 60 to 80% the last year with a highly constrained budget situation, even where there was no demand from the employees, as because everyone knew that the country was not in a position to increase salaries. Why we did it? Because we know the pain and the hardship that employees were going on. So by that time, if the government were opportunistic, we could have said that no, we cannot increase salaries. We would just continue. You better tighten your belts. So we are in a difficult situation. This is what the previous government said, that no, we can't do that. We can't increase salaries. So government is going to be in a very troublesome situation. But we didn't do that. So you have to understand and assess what we have done. And again, we gave a kind of tax benefits as well by increasing the tax liable threshold from 1.2 million to 1.8 million. And again, we broadened the tax the brackets. So whereby the lowest category employees got a 71% tax benefit. So that those are key two things I just wanted to highlight. Apart from the other things as well, and we are not doing anything that is detrimental to the employees. What we are really doing, something, all these reforms are for the betterment of the country. So I would like to refer to the statement made by Excellency the President, Anuradha Dissanayake, at one function yesterday at Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. He categorically said that the public institutions are there to serve the general public, to uphold the public interest. So it is a myth that, like, if you just think that the public institutions are to serve only to the employees. So employees are the people who should take the decision of the public entities. So that is really mistaken, I suppose, because that is not right, because the public entities are to serve the general public. But the reform that we are suggesting are to expand the possibilities of serving the general public. If something wrong with that, you can argue. So always I just request those who strike and work rule and all those things to come with your facts and figures and your the arguments. So you're open, we can discuss, but rather than just doing any sabotage. Of course, as you just highlighted, those people, of course, must have voted for NPP government with different objectives, that and this. But at this the moment, I don't think that those who really wanted to have this particular change and transform the society and work with the government do not engage in these the strikes. Some people may be due to misunderstanding or maybe misled, or some may be deliberately or the purposely to achieve some hidden or interior political objectives. I think at this particular juncture, it is not the right thing to do.
Right. Now switching to another topic. You are the minister, the deputy minister of economic development, but to have economic development, you need FDI, foreign direct investment. But with our sovereign rating still very low, how do we do this, and what prospects are there to boost our sovereign rating? Because right now, I think out of the 18 categories, we are at something like number 15 or 16. So we need it to come up significantly. What can the government do to boost this? And I'm talking about Fitch and S&P and Moody's, which are the three main ratings agencies. Yeah. Now, one point I understand is Sri Lankan Airlines has some major debt issues and so on. But how can the government move forward on this? Because it's holding the country back.
In a way, say we can, what Neeraj said is correct with respect to the credit rating of a country. It needs to be really upgraded for sure. But within a short period of time, so just 1 year, we have been able to the lift in a way like the independent agencies do the rating. The actions that we have taken during this particular time period just to stabilize the economy and do the right thing, maintaining good governance and corrupt-free politics and all these things have really helped those agencies to uplift the grading by 2 notches. So this is the first time, I suppose, like in the history. So the credit rating has not increased by 2 notches. So the couple of months ago, it was increased mainly due to stabilization because we restructured our debts. But it is a fact that some particular debt was not able, that is the Sri Lankan Airlines. So that is not a big amount compared to the total debt because ISB total debt was around 2.5 billion. And the bilateral debt also accounted around 14 billion something. So huge amount. But we were able to restructure them within or through a comparable treatment. So however it is, Sri Lankan Airline had taken 175 million US dollars. That was not in this restructuring plan, the original plan. We happened to separately attend on this. Now that task has been given to the same, the financial advisor, that is the same financial advisor,
and the Lazard.
Lazard, yes, Lazard is just attending this thing. That is almost finalized. So due to some other reason, this 175 million has gone up to 202 million. That would be finalized. From the rating agency's point of view, if there is anything that has even a small amount that is considered that the public entity had not been able to settle it or not has been restructured, so that may have kept the credit rating at the lower level. However it is, compared to the given situation, it has really increased. But you know that like to take a country out of the given situation and the direct towards the economic
takes a
development,
lot
it will
of
take
work.
lots of time. So therefore, in the future, it is more likely that the credit rating will go up. But I do not claim, or I do not say that no, in 1 year's time we will have to upgrade our credit limit to B, O, C, that position. It is impossible. But the trend and the current situation has really paved the way for us to increase our credit rating in the future. It is happening. So if you look at BOI, on the other hand, we never expected to have 1 billion investment during 1 year's period, because now we are passing the stabilization period. But during this stabilization period, we have been able to, BOI has been able to attract the foreign direct investment surpassing $1 billion. So that is a big achievement. So therefore, it implies that in future 25, so 26, 27, we can increase that number. And you can at the same time see how foreign investors are coming. I'll just give one statistic. In the energy sector, I was just telling you about the other sectors, the sector that where we expect high growth, energy sector. In the energy sector, the Minister of Energy wanted to expand the capacity of our old refinery. Already the contract has been awarded to Sinopec to construct another the refinery, that is Hambantota, that is also just happening. And this one to expand the capacity. As of now, its capacity is 50.
This is Sapugaskanda.
Sapugaskanda one. So in the CPC call for EOI, expression of interest. You know, more than 20 investors have applied. So that's a good signal that so investment are coming, because now in the past you can check some of the government they're calling for EOIs or RF in all these things. Investors did not apply. Why? They knew very well that even though I am capable enough, I will not be awarded the contract, because already particular investor had been earmarked, and we have those stories there. Now investors know very well that we are not favoring any investor, we are not discriminating any investor. So there is a level playing field, democratic field. Now anybody can apply and win a contract. So they know. So that is the reason. We'll see. So this is one indication. So likewise, the confidence, Niresh, will be gradually built.
Right. And now can I turn your attention to development 2 days ago, which it was long awaited, which is the expressway, the Central Expressway, which of course is supposed to go from Kadawatha all the way to Kurunagala, but for some unknown reason, the part that was completed was Mirigama to Kurunagala, where there's hardly any traffic between Mirigama and Kurunagala, but the part between Kadawatha and Mirigama, which has a lot of traffic, was only half completed. So it's cart before the horse, of course. And then, of course, with the bankruptcy situation, the whole project was stillborn. But now, 2 days ago, it was relaunched. And we expect that that segment, which I think is 37 kilometers, to be completed in 2 to 3 years, which will then link all the way from Colombo to Kurunagala, and of course open up beyond. What do you see with this expressway? What do you see happening in those areas beyond Kurunagala and beyond in, let's say, 3 years' time?
So we'll see that basically our government aims to channel public finance as much as possible for required infrastructure development. Among them, transportation and the road development, the road networks will play a key role. However, you got to be very, very careful when we just develop, because like when construct road networks, you have to have a proper plan. The network should connect to the commercial centers, cities, likewise, just to make the economic engine really moving fast. So therefore, this particular the road, because it was just initiated by previous governments, but due to the crisis period, the payments were not made to the contractor. As a result, it has been just stopped and stale project situation. Now we have to revive it. So we have two options. So one is just saying that the previous government did it and did not complete and give it up and rethink of constructing another one. So I mean, it is a huge loss to the government, the country. So we didn't do that. What we did was we revived the project. We negotiated, we discussed with the previous the contractor. There were huge the delay payments and the non-compliance the payments, and likewise excess payments were also there, but there is no any other option. In order to revive the project, we negotiated with them and revived. At the same time, that the phase 1 from the Kadavatha to Mirigama had been initiated with a loan taken from Chinese Exim Bank in dollar terms. Since this contractor stopped, that particular loan also just lapsed. Then the Exim Bank did not extend it, saying that so you have to revive and renegotiate with this contract. Now renegotiated, and again several discussions took place between the government and the Chinese Exim Bank, and Chinese Exim Bank extended the loan up to in yuan equivalent to 500 million US dollars. The balance money will be allocated from the treasury, and we want to quickly finish this part and establish a good connectivity from Colombo to Kurunegala and if possible to other areas as well, because the efficient transportation will bring the cost of operations down, especially just transportation cost and the mobility of the workforces, likewise, and connections to other economic centers. So therefore, this is very important, because we believe our government really wants to spend more and more for appropriate infrastructure, including road networks.
Right, and that expressway, of course, would connect Kurunegala, and then, of course, the road is already well constructed, the normal road, that is, to Dambulla, Trincomalee, Anuradhapura, Jaffna, and so on. So it certainly opens up, I think, about 60% of the country, doesn't it?
I think so. Like we need to further develop these road networks in such a manner to increase the efficiency and the traveling and transportation. Not only the cost and the time should really be brought down. I think that help us to boost the economy to great extent.
Right. Can I ask you about the maritime sector, ports especially? Now we see developments happening in the port of Colombo, but we also see a challenge from development in Indian ports. Can you take us through the scenario here?
Yes, of course. First, we need to look at our geographical location, our own advantages and our own strengths. And with that regard, so logistic is one of the key areas of economic development. The trading, the trading and transshipments. So likewise, lots of opportunities are there. Even the bunkering, so lots of opportunities are there, because lots of ship navigations that take place just down the country. The large
just
number of
south
ships are just traveling here. Yeah. So if we have very the reliable sources of catering to their needs, of course, those ships will get the services at the cheapest prices with no cost. So that would be much more convenient. So we work on that particular plan. Discussions are going on, and expression of interest are also called to develop some ports and develop logistic management and container handling. So likewise, even bunkering. So these things will happen in the future. And we do not worry that much. Like, of course, the same way other countries can come out with their development strategies. I think we need not to worry that too much. What India is going to do, and India would construct harbors or ports or whatever. So that is, I mean, their legitimate right. They should do these things, but we need not to worry. Just refer to the location, refer to the ship, the navigation, refer to the competencies that we have gained over time and even human capacity. So only thing is just put everything together with a great objective of creating a very good logistic hub based on Sri Lanka,
and based on Colombo
and other areas as well. So Colombo is more efficient, and that the port is considered to be one of the most efficient and the top ranking. We will capitalize all these opportunities because every country has its own strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats as well. So our geographical location is one of the strengths that we have, and the competencies that we have built over time is another strength. So, and at the same time, opportunity is there for the other countries and the ship navigation to take the services from us. So if the government genuinely facilitates it, intervenes into this territory, it would be easy for us to develop. So then we may face some constraints of finance. That is where we are ready to partner with other countries. We are ready to cooperate with other countries, other big developers, because there are many in the world in shipbuilding and the logistic arrangement, ports and container handling. So we are ready because the future of investment would greatly depends on how best you cooperate with other countries, other partners, how best you partner with them and engage with them by maintaining the transparency. So we are ready to do that. So we'll see, we'll expect the benefits, but the benefits will not come soon. It takes some time, but you see the progress over time.
And this first year, of course, was very much laying the groundwork, and perhaps even year two, the second year will also be more laying the groundwork. But do you see things getting easier in the second year?
I don't say that it would be easier, like nothing would come easy. Lots of challenges are there, but always we hope for the best. Our party, our government is fully dedicated and committed to face any challenge in pursuit of just directing the country to fulfill the aspiration of the people. So, however, though it is not that easy, we will find ways and means of doing these things. And apart from the point that I highlighted, our political will also plays a key role, and the way we work compared to the previous government, like the integration among different ministries, corporations, and the maintenance of good governance would really help us and give more energy to do the things. So therefore, I don't think that there will be any challenge that we will not be able to overcome. We are always hopeful to face any challenge.
Excellent news indeed. And I'm afraid we are out of time. My thanks to Professor Anil Jayantha Fernando, Minister of Labour and Deputy Minister of Economic Development. Very, very nice to have you on the show after a long time.
Thank you, Niresh. So it's a great pleasure. Hope joining you again. Maybe just in the coming budget we can discuss some more things. In a way, thank you very much for your effort of just bringing these to the general public and creating a bridge. Thank you so much.
And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away because the news is coming up next. Have a great evening and have a great weekend.